Legend has it that a young and beautiful woman named Layla became a widow at 16. Her father had sold her to a sinister landlord at the age of 14 who, obsessed with her ethereal beauty, made her his bride. When he died under mysterious circumstances, she inherited his cursed fortune. Soon her father, now a shadowy figure, controlled all those haunted lands and his daughter's ill-gotten wealth. The next year, the father remarried Layla to another, much older man. He was a very wealthy textile merchant. The news had already spread that the young woman attracted bad luck, because at such a young age, she was a widow twice. After a few months, the young widow meets Leonidas, a young man who fell madly in love with Layla and didn't believe in curses or anything. Layla, for the first time, did want to marry Leonidas. Because the young man enjoyed a very good economic position, the father gives consent for Layla to marry for the third time.
Another couple of years passed and Layla and Leonidas were very happy, but sadly their happiness didn't last long because Leonidas also died in a strange accident. Devastated, Layla locked herself in her quarters. She didn't want to receive visits from anyone. The only ones that crawled into her bedroom were a couple of gray cats. As time went by, these two were no longer just two, but more than 10. Layla was sharing food with her feline friends. When she finally decided to leave her bedroom, the cats followed her everywhere. Days, weeks, and months passed, and the rumor that there was a witch in the village soon spread everywhere. She had been nicknamed the Cat Widow.
It happened that one night there was a big thunderstorm and lightning struck right at the village church. And unfortunately for Layla, it was attributed to her. On the second day, a fiery village picks up Layla and burns her alive in the bonfire, arguing that she is a witch. They didn't mind Layla's father's plea. Layla screamed and asked for help. Among cries of pain, she said she was innocent, but the young woman burned herself in the bonfire while she screamed heartbreaking screams and said, almost breathless, "I swear I will take revenge on each of you." In the night, the father, crying, only picks up his inert body. Nothing was left of her beautiful face. It was a heartbreaking scene. The father puts her in a coffin and carries her to his big mansion. The only ones who kept him company were the cats, who meowed in pain over the death of their protector. The father, crying, confesses in front of his daughter's cadaver, who for his greed had killed his 3 sons-in-law. He was very sorry and couldn't bear the pain and guilt. In front of Layla's cadaver, he took poison and killed himself.
There was another big thunder and lightning storm that night, and it fell right on the big bell tower of the town. The residents were very scared. They attributed it to Layla's curse. No one wanted to enter that mansion. They were very scared of him. Only the cats were the only ones living in that house. And there were still paranormal happenings in the village. They saw the Cat Widow after midnight. She walked all over the city surrounded by her cats. Weeks went by, and a plague of cats was unleashed. Every day there were more cats. In every corner of the town there were 3 or 4, and accidents were the order of the day. In the village, accidents began to occur under the most tragic and bizarre circumstances. One villager, while cooking, stumbled and fell head-on into a cauldron. Another drowned in the river, and yet another, while slicing bread, cut his hand and bled severely. Even more chilling, one fell from the barn loft. Other deaths were as simple as falling down the stairs. So one by one, everyone who had participated in Layla's violent end met their own grim fate. The priest, the instigator of everything, was terrified. He attributed all these mysterious deaths to the cats. On a particularly dark and cold night, he sneaked out with a torch, intending to end the cats once and for all. Other deaths were as simple as falling down the stairs, so one by one, everyone who participated in Layla's vile assassination began dying. The priest, the instigator of everything, was very scared and attributed it all to the cats. On a particularly dark and cold night, he sneaked up with a torch, intending to end the cats once and for all. He reached the door of the big mansion to burn it down, but the door suddenly opened and he sees Layla, pale and beautiful, with a black cat in hand. The priest gets scared and runs off, but the cats fall on him, and out of fear, he releases the torch from his hands and lights his underwear. He tries to get out of the basement, but he can't, no matter how hard he tries, and screams appallingly while having a horrible death just like Layla's. Layla stares at him angrily as the big gate of her mansion closes in. The legend goes that Layla ended up taking revenge on everyone who burned her alive, and so it became another legend of horror, the widow of the cats. Don't forget, like and subscribe.